In a small village named Kalu, there lived a man named Tunde. Tunde was a strange man. During the day, he walked around the village acting like a madman. His clothes were dirty and torn, and he always mumbled to himself. The villagers felt sorry for him and sometimes gave him food. But at night, Tunde was a different person. He became a powerful gangster, feared by everyone. Tunde's secret was known only to a few close friends. They called themselves the Night Shadows. Each night, they would gather in a hidden cave outside the village, plotting their next move. They would steal from the rich and help the poor, but they were also known for their ruthless ways. Tunde's right-hand man was a tall, strong man named Bayo. Bayo was loyal to Tunde and always followed his orders. One sunny afternoon, while Tunde was pretending to be mad, a little girl named Julie came up to him. Julie was curious about Tunde and wanted to know why he acted the way he did. "Why do you act so strange, Tunde?" she asked. Tunde just smiled and patted her on the head. "One day, you will understand," he said mysteriously. That night, Tunde and the Night Shadows were planning their next mission. They had heard about a wealthy merchant who was traveling through the village with a lot of gold. Tunde wanted to steal the gold and give it to the poor villagers who were struggling. "We need to be careful," Tunde warned. "This merchant is known to have strong guards." As the night fell, Tunde and his gang set out to ambush the merchant. They hid in the shadows, waiting for the right moment. When the merchant's caravan passed by, Tunde gave the signal, and the Night Shadows sprang into action. A fierce battle ensued, with Tunde and his gang fighting bravely. But things took a dark turn when one of Tunde's men, Kola, was injured. Tunde couldn't leave Kola behind. He carried him back to the cave, where they tried to stop the bleeding. "Hang in there, Kola," Tunde whispered. "We'll get you to safety." But Kola's condition was worsening, and they needed to get help. The next morning, Tunde went to the village healer, Mama Nkechi. Pretending to be mad, he begged her for help. "Please, Mama Nkechi, my friend is very sick," he pleaded. Mama Nkechi was kind-hearted and agreed to follow him. She was surprised when Tunde led her to the hidden cave. Mama Nkechi worked quickly, using her herbs and potions to treat Kola's wounds. "This is serious," she said. "He needs to rest and heal." Tunde thanked her, and Mama Nkechi promised to keep their secret. As days passed, Kola's condition improved, but Tunde knew they had to be more careful. The villagers were starting to ask questions about the recent attacks. One day, while Tunde was wandering the village, he overheard a group of men talking about forming a patrol to catch the Night Shadows. Tunde realized they were in danger. That night, Tunde called a meeting with his gang. "We need to lay low for a while," he said. "The villagers are getting suspicious." Bayo nodded in agreement, but some of the others were restless. "We can't just stop," one of them argued. "We need to keep fighting." Tunde understood their frustration, but knew they had to be smart. "We'll find another way," he assured them. "But for now, we need to be careful." Meanwhile, Julie had been watching Tunde closely. She noticed that he often disappeared at night and wondered where he went. One evening, she followed him, staying hidden in the shadows. She was amazed to see him transform from a madman into a confident leader. Julie decided to confront him. The next day, she approached Tunde. "I know your secret," she whispered. Tunde's eyes widened in surprise. "What do you mean?" he asked. "I saw you last night," Julie said. "I know you're not really mad."
Tunde.
"You must keep this secret, Julie," he said. "It's important for everyone's safety." Julie nodded, promising to keep quiet. She admired Tunde and wanted to help him. As weeks went by, the villagers' patrols became more frequent. One night, Tunde and his gang were returning from a mission when they were ambushed by the patrol. A fierce fight broke out, and Tunde was captured. The villagers were shocked to discover that the madman was actually the leader of the Night Shadows. Tunde was brought before the village elders, who decided to put him on trial. The villagers were divided. Some believed Tunde was a hero for helping the poor, while others saw him as a dangerous criminal. The trial was tense, with everyone waiting to see what would happen. In the midst of the trial, Julie stepped forward. "Tunde is not a bad man," she said bravely. "He has helped many people in this village. We should give him a chance to explain." The elders agreed to listen to Tunde. He told them about his double life, explaining that he acted mad to protect his identity. He admitted to stealing but said it was to help those in need. The elders were moved by his story but still had to decide his fate. Just as they were about to give their verdict, a group of bandits attacked the village. The villagers panicked, but Tunde saw an opportunity. "Let me help you," he pleaded. "I know how to fight them." The elders reluctantly agreed, and Tunde led the villagers in defending their home. With his leadership, they managed to drive the bandits away. The villagers cheered, realizing that Tunde was indeed a hero. After the battle, the elders decided to give Tunde a second chance. "You will work with us to protect the village," they said. Tunde agreed, grateful for the opportunity to make things right. From that day on, Tunde was no longer a madman. He became a respected protector of the village, with Julie by his side. Together, they worked to keep Kalu safe, knowing that the real danger was still out there. In the peaceful days that followed the bandit attack, Tunde felt a sense of calm he hadn't experienced in years. The villagers no longer saw him as a madman, but as their protector. Julie became his constant companion, learning from him and sharing her own ideas about how to make Kalu a better place. One evening, while Tunde and Julie were walking by the river, they noticed something unusual. A group of strangers had set up camp near the water, their tents brightly colored and their laughter carrying through the air. Tunde's instincts told him to be cautious. "We should keep an eye on them," he whispered to Julie. The next day, the strangers came into the village, introducing themselves as traveling performers. They offered to put on a show for the villagers, promising music, magic, and fun. The village elders were hesitant, but eventually agreed. Everyone was excited for the performance, but Tunde couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. That night, the village square was filled with laughter and music. The performers were talented, and their tricks amazed the crowd. But Tunde noticed one performer in particular, a man with sharp eyes and a cunning smile. He seemed to be watching the villagers more than he was performing. As the night wore on, Tunde decided to investigate. He slipped away from the crowd, signaling to Bayo and the other night shadows to follow him. They circled around the camp, moving silently in the dark. What they discovered shocked them, a hidden stash of weapons and stolen goods. The performers were not who they claimed to be. They were spies and thieves. Tunde quickly devised a plan. They would catch the thieves red-handed, but they needed to be careful not to cause panic among the villagers. The night shadows split into groups, each taking a position around the square. Tunde gave the signal, and they moved in. The confrontation was swift. Tunde and his gang apprehended the thieves, their cover blown. The villagers were stunned as the truth was revealed. The thieves had planned to rob the village and escape under the guise of traveling performers. Tunde's quick thinking had saved them once again. The village elders praised Tunde for his bravery, and the villagers celebrated their hero. But Tunde knew this was just the beginning. The appearance of the thieves meant that Kalu was on the radar of more dangerous enemies. He needed to be prepared for what was to come. One afternoon, while Tunde and Julie were training in the forest, they stumbled upon an old, hidden path. Curious, they followed it and discovered a long-forgotten shrine. The shrine was covered in ancient symbols and carvings. Tunde felt a strange connection to the place, as if it held secrets from the past. Julie examined the carvings closely. "These symbols," she said, "they tell a story. A story of a warrior who protected this land long ago." Tunde felt a chill run down his spine. The story seemed familiar, almost like a reflection of his own life. They decided to keep the shrine a secret, using it as a hidden base for their training. As they spent more time there, they uncovered more about the ancient warrior. The warrior, named Oba, was said to possess great strength and wisdom. Tunde felt a sense of destiny, as if he was meant to continue Oba's legacy. Meanwhile, in a distant city, a powerful warlord named Chaka heard rumors of Tunde's bravery. Chaka was a ruthless man, known for conquering villages and enslaving their people. He saw Tunde as a threat to his plans and decided to eliminate him. Chaka sent his most trusted lieutenant, a cunning and dangerous woman named Ife, to Kalu. Ife arrived in Kalu disguised as a merchant, quickly gaining the trust of the villagers. She observed Tunde from a distance, learning his routines and weaknesses. One night, she approached him with an offer. "Join us, Tunde," she said. "With your skills, You could have wealth and power beyond your dreams. Tunde refused, knowing that Chaka's path was one of destruction. Ife was not pleased and warned him that he would regret his decision. The next day, Ife's men attacked Kalu, setting fire to the houses and capturing the villagers. Tunde and the Night Shadows fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. In the chaos, Julie was taken hostage. Tunde was furious and desperate to save her. He and Bayo managed to track down Ife's camp, planning a daring rescue mission. They moved silently through the forest, using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. As they approached the camp, Tunde saw Julie tied to a tree, surrounded by Ife's men. He signaled to Bayo, and they launched their attack. The fight was intense, with Tunde and Bayo taking down enemy after enemy. Finally, Tunde faced Ife. The two fought fiercely, but Tunde's determination and skill prevailed. With Ife defeated and Julie safe, Tunde knew they had won a small battle, but the war was far from over. Chaka would not stop until Kalu was under his control. Tunde vowed to protect his village, no matter the cost. The villagers rebuilt their homes, grateful for Tunde's leadership. They trained and prepared for the next attack, knowing that their hero would stand by them. Tunde's reputation grew, and soon, other villages looked to him for guidance and protection. But Tunde's journey was just beginning. The secrets of the ancient shrine, the looming threat of Chaka, and the mystery of his own past would lead him on a path filled with danger, adventure, and discovery. As he stood with Julie by his side, Tunde knew that together they could face anything the future held. The village of Kalu became a beacon of hope for neighboring communities. People from far and wide came seeking protection and guidance from Tunde. His reputation as a fearless leader and protector spread, and he gained the support of many. One day, while Tunde and Julie were training at the ancient shrine, they discovered a hidden chamber. Inside, they found an old scroll with a map. The map showed the location of a legendary weapon said to have belonged to Oba, the ancient warrior. The weapon was rumored to possess immense power, and Tunde knew it could be the key to defeating Chaka. Tunde gathered the Night Shadows and set out on a perilous journey to find the weapon. The map led them through dense forests, across raging rivers, and over towering mountains. Along the way, they faced numerous challenges, but their determination never wavered. After many days of travel, they arrived at a hidden cave deep in the mountains. The entrance was guarded by ancient traps, but Tunde and his friends managed to navigate through them. Inside the cave, they found a magnificent sword, glowing with a faint blue light. Tunde carefully picked it up, feeling its power resonate through him. With the legendary weapon in hand, Tunde and the Night Shadows returned to Kalu, ready to face Chaka. They trained harder than ever, preparing for the inevitable battle. Tunde knew that Chaka would come with a large army, and they needed every advantage they could get. Meanwhile, Chaka was furious when he heard about Tunde's growing influence. He gathered his forces, determined to crush Kalu once and for all. His army marched towards the village, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. As Chaka's army approached, Tunde stood at the front lines with the Night Shadows and the villagers by his side. The battle began with a thunderous clash, and chaos erupted. Tunde fought with unparalleled skill, the legendary sword in his hand glowing with power. The villagers and the Night Shadows fought bravely, inspired by Tunde's leadership. In the midst of the battle, Tunde faced Chaka. The two warriors clashed, their swords ringing with each strike. Chaka was strong and ruthless, but Tunde's determination and the power of the legendary weapon gave him the upper hand. With a final, powerful strike, Tunde defeated Chaka, and the warlord fell to the ground. The remaining soldiers of Chaka's army, seeing their leader defeated, surrendered. The villagers cheered, their village finally free from the threat of Chaka's tyranny. Tunde stood victorious, his heart filled with relief and gratitude. After the battle, the villagers celebrated their hard-won freedom. Tunde was hailed as a hero, not just in Kalu but in all the neighboring villages. Peace returned to the land, and the villagers rebuilt their homes and lives. Tunde continued to protect and guide the people, but he never forgot the lessons he had learned on his journey. He knew that true strength came not just from power, but from the bonds of friendship and the courage to stand up for what is right. Julie, who had been by Tunde's side through it all, became his closest advisor. Together, they worked to ensure that Kalu, and the surrounding villages remained safe and prosperous. The ancient shrine became a place of learning and wisdom, where people came to study the teachings of Oba and learn from Tunde's experiences. Years passed, and Tunde's legend grew. He became a symbol of hope and justice, a reminder that even in the darkest times, heroes could rise to protect the innocent. His story was told and retold, inspiring generations to come. Tunde knew that his journey was far from over. There would always be new challenges to face and new battles to fight. But with Julie by his side and the support of the villagers, he was ready to face whatever the future held. And so, the village of Kalu thrived under Tunde's leadership, a shining example of courage, resilience, and the power of unity. Tunde's legacy lived on, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope.